Hello and welcome to my Week 5 journal. The first thing that I will be discussing today on my Week 5 journal is how I would introduce students to fractions in my classroom. I would introduce students to fractions in my classroom by utilizing sharing tasks. The first thing that I chose to do to introduce students to fractions would be to introduce a concept video. This video in particular is a great one because it helps students to by using visual representations. It points out common fractions that we would see in everyday lives, such as like sharing a pie or sharing a pizza. This helps students to learn and apply their fractions in each day and helps them to understand how fractions um, will be used by them in the future. Then I would pose a story problem to my students. The one I chose says, suppose there were a whole pizza to be shared among 4 children so that each child gets the same amount. How much will each child get? We would discuss this and, look at some examples and then move on to our lesson. Students use construction paper to create a pizza decorated with their favorite toppings. Then they will exchange their slices of pizza with their classmates. After all of their pizzas are exchanged, they evaluate the fractions of slices that they have left. So this would look like I have half of my slices of pizza, and then I have an eighth of slices of Susie's pizza, and 1/4 slices of a pizza that was made by my classmate Tom. And this will just kind of help students to better visualize the fractions. So correcting misconceptions in the classroom. So the myth of common denominators is the misconception that I chose. In the text, it describes this as, in order to add or subtract fractions, you must first get common denominators. This is something that I was definitely taught in school. The way that this is usually explained is like adding apples and oranges. So in order to correct this misconception, I would reword the explanation and explain to students that the algorithm is designed to work only with common denominators. We would move past this misconception through practicing solving fraction computations by finding a common denominator and without finding the common denominator. Students could better understand in what situations they wouldn't need to find a common denominator. And then they could explore their own inventive strategies to get more comfortable with this concept. So after exploring the various websites on the math manipulatives, I chose one that was called Alien Edition. This one was an awesome one to help students learn to add. So students are given a sum and must shoot a laser at a spaceship with the matching equation. Students can tailor the game to meet their level that they're currently working at by choosing the number range they would like to add and the speed that the spaceships travel to kind of they can make it either easier or harder just depending on what they think they need. The game is scored by accuracy and rate, and students can see how many they missed and compare their answer to the correct answer so that they can better understand their mistake. So afterward, it gives them a list of all of the problems that they miscalculated and then the correct answer, and they can kind of compare. I would use this in the classroom by incorporating this into math centers. I think it's perfect for one task that students could access independently while I'm working with other students at my math rotations. So when we look at virtual manipulatives versus real manipulatives, there are some pros and cons. But the main benefits of virtual manipulatives is that they're readily available. We can access them at school, and students can access them at home, and they're just always ready to go at the drop of a hat. Technology can give immediate, informative feedback to our students as well. So in the classroom, if you're using real manipulatives, the teacher has to be present in order to give that feedback, and there's so many students. Whereas if they're using virtual manipulatives, then the computer will automatically give them the feedback that they need. So it just kind of makes it a little easier. Many representations of the same math concept to choose from. So there's many games and many different activities that you could find online that um, that introduce the same math concept to students for them to practice. Well, this also limits setup time for teachers since they do not have to choose and set up materials. So when we look back at the many different math representations, well, if it were a real manipulative, then teachers would have to set up all of those different representations. And whenever you're using a virtual manipulative, they're just ready on their own. They also lead to a better understanding of math concepts for students, since they can kind of tailor, their virtual experience to meet their interests. And then I thought this was interesting, kind of funny. It says the fear of technology is strong with this one. I think that as educators, and just, in general, in many areas of life, people are kind of having a hard time of transitioning when it comes to technology. And, while there are drawbacks, it can be also has a lot of benefits for our students in the classroom. So I think we just need to get a little bit more comfortable, and then it could really help our students improve. So that will conclude my journal for this week. Thank you.